in harmonious creation, he planted a garden in the region of Eden. And there he placed his viceregent, in his image, the human being, so that through his work he would extend the confines of that Eden until it covered the entire earth. And through multiplication, he would fill the entire earth with his image so that everyone would know who the king was. The project that God has had since then is to establish his kingdom on earth. Through the agency of his image, Adam and his descendants were to prepare the earth through his work to the point of leaving it ready so that heaven and earth would be the same as God established his kingdom on all the earth. Then, God would dwell permanently and eternally with human beings on earth. This was and is God's plan from the beginning, that through the agency of his image, his kingdom would be established in all the earth. And we once again hear echoes of this great project in the prayer of the Lord's Prayer. But not only there, but also the scriptures attest to this through the Old and New Testaments. Psalm 67. For let the nations be glad and rejoice, for you will judge the people with equity, and you will shepherd the nations in the land. Isaiah 11. 9 They will do no harm or harm in all my holy mountain, for the earth will be filled with the knowledge of the Lord, as the waters cover the sea. Matthew 5. 5 Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Revelation 21. 1 and 3 Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth. I heard a powerful voice coming from the throne saying, Here, among human beings, is the dwelling place of God. He will camp among them, and they will be his people. God himself will be with them and will be their God. The theme that resonates throughout this biblical story is God dwelling as King of men on earth. And in this kingdom the human being, the image of it, has an important participation in its construction. The first human being, the first Adam, was responsible for starting this project. But as we know, this first Adam failed. He did not remain in the required obedience. When he fell into sin, we all fell. Sin brought devastating consequences for all humanity. Its very purpose for existing was distorted. His life and his relationships were altered. But God was not going to leave his project unfinished or frustrated. At that same moment he established the announcement of a second Adam, a descendant of the woman, who would put an end to the influence of the serpent once and for all. In Genesis 3:15 I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and hers. Her seed will crush your head, but you will bite her heel. This verse is considered or called the Proto-Evangelium First Gospel, because we can say that it is the first announcement of the good news. When all seemed lost, when all seemed ruined, comes this small but shocking announcement that someone would come from the offspring of the woman who would put an end forever to the influence and power of the serpent, and establish the kingdom of God on earth. He says, her seed will crush your head. The way to kill a snake is precisely by hitting it on its head. That is the prophetic announcement of an Adam. 804. Of a human being, descended from the woman, who would crush the head of the evil one. But this action was not going to be without complications. The same announcement says that the snake will do everything on its part to prevent it. That he was going to inflict pain on this last Adam. That was going to bite the heel of him. Not a definitive wound, but a serious wound, after all. As we see, from the beginning God has planned for heaven and earth to be united through the agency of his image, Adam. But the first person in charge of putting this into place, the first Adam, failed, and all of us descended from him, consequently, failed. But from the beginning of our history, there was this wonderful promise and announcement that another Adam would come, who would not fail, but would be certain to fulfill his mission and finally establish the kingdom of God on earth. Who is this last Adam we are talking about? Who is this that the Proto-Evangelium tells us about? Galatians 4:4-5 says, But when the time was fulfilled, God sent his Son, born of a woman, born under the law, to rescue those who were